Hello and welcome to your Pick a Card reading. Today we're going to be doing a reading that is talking all about messages from your higher self about who you really are. We're going to be getting messages about your past lives, your current life. We're going to be getting messages about where you are headed and what kind of effect you can have on the world, all according to your higher self. So I'm excited to get on into the reading. We have different piles for you to choose from. So I know it's a little bit strange, a little bit disordered, but this one in the middle is actually pile number 1 with the selenite crystal right here. That's pile number 1. Pile number 2 is over here with the bird in the night with the clear quartz crystal. And pile number 3, we have the fire crystal with the tree standing alone in the night. If you need to take a moment to pause the video or watch the short little meditation that I will have for you to allow to meditate on the cards and see which one calls to you the most. Remember to use your intuition and see which one you feel most drawn to. And if you feel called to more than one pile, feel free to watch that because, of course, we have, there can be messages in both for you. With all that said, once you've picked your pile, go ahead and scroll down to the description box where I will have each one of your piles linked and you can jump ahead to your reading. With all that said, I look forward to seeing you in the reading. See you then. Hi there, group number 1. If you picked group number 1 with this crystal that is a selenite, then this is your reading. We're going to dive right in, group number 1, with messages from your higher self, all about who you really are from your higher self's perspective. Now, keep in mind with your higher self that your higher self knows who you were throughout all your past lifetimes and who you came here to be, what you came here to acquire, and what you're capable of doing with your greatest potential. So this is going to be the highest perspective of who you incarnated to be in this lifetime. So I already pre-shuffled just because I think shuffling on camera takes a really long time. So I have most of your cards pre-shuffled, but I have a few at the end that I will do, that I'll do live. So let's look what you got. Pile number 1. We have Justice. We have, and I don't do reversals, so I'm going to take all of these upright. We have the 3 of Cups. We have the Knight of Pentacles. We have 7 of Swords. Just pull that forward. And we have the 6 of Cups. All right, pile number 1. It's interesting, right out the gate, pile number 1. What I'm getting is your higher self is saying, you're somebody that came here for justice, is what I'm hearing. The biggest part of who you are has to do with equity, has to do with creating an equilibrium, and has to do with fairness. I'm hearing that most people might not see this about you right out the gate. That this might be a part of yourself that people are slow to recognize within you, because they see you as this kind of happy-go-lucky, fun-loving type of character. And I'm seeing that most people don't actually, I'm seeing that this is a bit of, Spirit is saying that it is kind of almost like a mask that you wear. Not that you don't have a happy-go-lucky type of personality and type of soul. I'm hearing that you do, that at your heart and core, you are a very, very generous person. But what I'm hearing is that that people tend to mistake your kindness for weakness, and that's actually not it at all. That you have such a huge heart, and you have I'm hearing just such a strong sense of what is right and what is wrong, and such a strong humanitarian type of aspect to yourself. And a big part of what you've experienced in prior lifetimes, and possibly in this lifetime as well, has to do with the imbalances and the injustices within relationships. I'm getting a lot of Libra type of energy with this. Even if you're not a Libra, I'm seeing possibly like South Node Libra or South Node 7th house. I'm seeing very strong 7th house or Libra moon type of energy here. And I see that you care greatly for other people, and that in past lifetimes you had to experience a lot of injustice. You saw a lot of injustice, and a lot of that injustice had to do with what I'm hearing is with those with the haves taking from the have-nots, is what I'm hearing. And I'm seeing that this is something that, what I'm seeing is that this is something that you have incarnated to try and bring balance back into the world. That a big part of your mission and your purpose here in this lifetime is to help people to not just see injustice, that you're not really just all about talk, because some people are all about talk, but for you, you are about action, and you are about, I'm hearing acting from the heart, that you are about generosity, you are about helping others, and I'm seeing that it might really have a lot to do with helping children. You might feel very called towards working with children, helping children. I'm also hearing helping those who can't help themselves, and helping those who have been taken advantage of and who are disadvantaged due to the fact that they have been taken advantage of. And Spirit is saying that before you chose to even incarnate into this world, in your prior existence, before you came into the physical world, that you were a person with you were a person that was greatly celebrated. You were a person that was incredibly loved. Your soul in general was incredibly fruitful, and you had like an abundant soul, an abundant spirit is what I'm hearing. And that you were blessed with, you were bestowed with so much love in the prior existence before you incarnated into this world. And that your heart chakra is very wide open. And in this lifetime, you people might have taken advantage of that. They might have taken advantage of your good heart. And because of that, you are kind of more methodical. You are more slow moving to show your value and to maybe even to acquire your goals in this life. But it's not just that you're taking your time, or people might think that maybe it's a timidness, or I'm not even hearing a timidness. I'm hearing that maybe other people tend to think of you as maybe being kind of like, almost like a hippie child kind of thing, where you just kind of go with the flow or where the wind blows you. But actually what they don't see, what's going on underneath, is that you are very methodical and you have plans and well thought out plans, but you don't like to show your cards. You don't like to show people what you're doing, because you know how dangerous the world is. You know that the world is full of I just want to say is full of of thieves, is full of people that want to take that high value from you, and they want to take it from those who are deserving and give it on. And what I'm hearing is that you are here to restore balance, to restore equilibrium, and that your higher self sees you as somebody that's very fortunate, that is blessed with a lot of good fortune due to having very good karma. Now, even if you feel like you aren't fortunate at this moment, they're saying that fortune, Spirit is saying strongly and loudly that fortune is not measured by the material goods in this world, by what you've acquired. You came into the world a fortunate soul because you had the fortune of abundance of a beautiful heart, of having a good heart, of having a good spirit, of having a generosity of spirit, of having a natural sense of justice, which not everybody has in this world. They're saying that for some people that's part of their journey in this life, is to learn that innate sense of justice, fairness, kindness, compassion, that's part of why they've incarnated, but not you. You came in as a very blessed, rich soul. And even if you were born into difficult circumstances, that your soul has always been rich, your soul has always been prosperous. And they're saying that you're here to spread that prosperity of spirit, to spread that generosity of spirit to others. So let's look at some of your other cards. Pile number 1. I pulled some astrology from the astrology deck, and we have Uranus with, it says radical change. And what I'm hearing is radical transformation. And Cardinal, it says investigation, bravery, and a pioneering spirit. Interesting. So what I'm getting for you, pile number 1, it's very interesting with Uranus, because Uranus is the humanitarian, and what I'm really getting with this is strong humanitarian vibes, that you're somebody that is meant to take action. Spirit is giving me this image that you are supposed to be, and this is a metaphor, you're supposed to be a spark that ignites a wildfire. And that spark is supposed to be the light of the world. And I'm hearing that due to past lifetimes, that maybe you have kind of stifled and held back that more cardinal energy. And what I mean by cardinal energy is that leadership energy, that forthright, take charge type of energy, that maybe you felt the need to, like, Spirit is saying that you still take charge in situations. You are a natural born leader, but that you're cautious, and that what you're here to acquire is that spirit of being the one who's willing to ignite the spark in other people's hearts. They're saying, like we were talking about, that you have a very good heart and you have a light that burns within you, and that is the light of justice and of truth and of fairness, and that this is really innate to your spirit, this is innate to your soul, and that you're here to show others the way, which is very Uranus. Uranus is the planet that represents rebellion. It's interesting because it's it represents humanity, it represents the future, but it also represents rebellion. And that's because the only way, a lot of the time, that people make strides in humanitarian efforts a lot of the time is to take a leap forward and cause radical transformation. And I'm really hearing that that's a big part of what Spirit is calling you to do. And I'm hearing there's a I'm hearing that there's a lot of different ones that might have picked this pile, and I'm hearing that it could come in different means. I'm hearing different things like radical transformation of wealth, radical transformation of, I can't think of quite the right word, like radical transformation of means of helping people on a social scale, radical transformation of helping people on a psychological scale. I'm hearing that for some of you, this might mean writing books. For others, it might mean actually getting involved in like movements, possibly, I don't know, starting movements. I'm hearing that whatever it is that you choose, or whatever it is that Spirit calls you towards in this lifetime, that it's the thing that's going to be the catalyst for you in your spirit that you are here to acquire is actually bravery. Because you are meant to be kind of like a pioneer, in the sense of you're meant to be somebody that forges the way forward for others. You're supposed to be the first person that blazes a trail forward. And they're saying that you cannot be a trailblazer without bravery, and that spark is inside of you, but that this lifetime has maybe caused you to feel like you had to hold that spark within, and you feel like kind of like I'm getting this image of just kind of being engulfed by darkness and just having this small little flame. But Spirit is saying that if you share that flame, you'll see how many other lights that ignites for others, because you're supposed to be the one that sees the light where nobody else sees the light. And that's going to cause radical change. And what I'm hearing more than change is transformation. That's what really Uranus does. It flips everything over. And it shows you a perspective that nobody else could see before. And so I'm seeing that that's what your higher self is calling you to do. It says that you've had other lifetimes, and possibly lifetimes of royalty, of being in this position of a lot of, I don't know, of like abundance, of that a lot was given unto you in other lifetimes, but it was really so that you could acquire in other lifetimes certain knowledge of how the up and ups work. But in this lifetime, you're meant to be more working on I'm hearing on a broader scale, and not being up there, like in a royalty position, but being with the regular people, working with the regular people, but bringing the knowledge that you've acquired from many lifetimes of studying how the up and up works to bring about a bigger transformation. So, pile number one, that's not really what I was expecting to get going into your reading. That went a lot further and bigger picture than I was expecting. Let's see what your other cards have to say. We have, we have the Sage with Jupiter. Guess we'll just put this here. We have the Sage with Jupiter. It says the truth will set me free. Oh my goodness. We have the Collaborator. This is what we were just talking about with I co-create, co-create to create, it says. And we have the Communicator, Mercury. Words have power. It says, on the very bottom, it says truthful, outspoken, flexible, clear, quick, reliable, friendly, intelligent, open-minded, intuitive, psychological, informed, articulate. So I'll just set this right here. So I'm seeing that your higher self, like I was saying before, you've acquired from a lot of prior lifetimes, and possibly in this lifetime as well. You might have had a lot of opportunities to become very educated, if not in this lifetime, in prior lifetimes. And even if you don't have like traditional education, I feel like this group, you guys are all incredibly smart, incredibly intelligent. You could be kind of a a self-learner, where you read a lot or study a lot or have had a lot of life experiences that have really made you a very, I want to say, worldly and knowledgeable person. And Spirit is saying almost like this was the beginning of your journey in your incarnation here. And it could have been like the first chunk of your life, meaning depending on your age, and you might still be going through this depending on your age, but pretty much Spirit is giving me that before your first Saturn return, which happens around the age of 27, 28, you were kind of playing out the karma of your past life, and a lot of that karma had to do with collecting knowledge and collecting knowledge of how the world functions, and that Spirit brought you a lot of experiences that were adding to your knowledge of how the world and how people and communities and how the globe works. And this has made you incredibly wise. It's made you very Jupiterian. You might have had experiences like you've got to travel a lot. Maybe you've just gotten to know a lot of people who have traveled a lot that have brought you a lot of worldly knowledge, that you have a very unique perspective. I want to say too that you guys could be North Node Aquariuses, North Node conjunct Uranus, North Node conjunct Jupiter, or North Node Sagittarius. And for some reason I'm getting South Node Sag too. But I really feel like a big part of what your higher self is telling you you're here to do and who you really are has to do with working with others and taking all of that knowledge and not just holding it within yourself, but speaking it to people on a broad scale, using your words to reach people all around the world, and to share that knowledge, to ignite that spark in others, so that Spirit is saying so that we can lift the world up. And that a lot of us get too caught up in thinking that we can do it all ourselves, but it actually takes that spark being ignited in a lot of us to lift the world up. And that you're kind of like the spark, like you're the instigator is what I'm hearing. And that when you start speaking out your truth, when you start sharing that knowledge that you have been gifted of from many lifetimes and in this lifetime, that it's going to open the eyes of others and help others to ignite their purpose as well. And what Spirit is saying is then you won't feel like you are just a single flame standing alone in the dark. You're going to see that it's going to be like a wildfire, like that's just going to spread so rapidly to illuminate the truths of this world, to illuminate the injustices, and to, I'm hearing like, kind of like, I don't know, they're giving me a lot of fire analogies. Maybe you're a fire sign, to kind of like squelch out, to stamp out all of those injustices is what I'm hearing. And that a lot of what you're here to do too has to do with helping others and working with others and collaborating with others. And I'm hearing that you have a lot of soul family in this lifetime, and that might have presented itself as a lot of karmic situations in this lifetime. Because they forced you to see the shadow, they forced you to see the injustices that your soul just did not want to look at in this lifetime. So your final card I have for you, and why I'm hearing that your soul did not want to look at those injustices, is because you're a higher, more evolved spirit. And so those karmic situations that you might have had with others was kind of bringing out that desire to stand up against injustice in this lifetime, kind of bringing it to the surface again. So, I've used this deck before, but I don't think I've ever pulled this card. And this is the card that I pulled for you. It's kind of interesting. It has like a portal there. And your words of motivation are puzzle, quest, journey, self-discovery. Now, and just set that this way. I think the overall message that Spirit wants you to get from this is to realize that sometimes you might become so frustrated or bogged down with the details and feeling like there's so many, they're really honing in on the word puzzle, and kind of feeling like you get caught in the complexities, which is a very Mercury type of thing to do, since we got the communicator, that you are incredibly smart, but sometimes people who are incredibly intelligent or very mercurial tend to get very bogged down in the details and too caught up on that, and it's harder to get that broader perspective. And Spirit is saying that that you're here, don't forget that it's about the journey, and that the journey, and it's going to lead you to the answers that you seek. That if you keep putting one foot in front of the other, it's going to get you out of this, I think maze was another one of the words. Yeah, it says maze. That it's going to get you out of the maze that is, that has left you feeling very puzzled. And it's going to lead you to those answers that you are, that you're seeking. And that your answers that you find along your journey are going to lead to answers on a much broader scale. So everything that you acquire in this life, though you don't see it now, can actually have a much bigger impact, because you're going to be helping a lot of people. I'm hearing a lot of friends, a lot of soul family on your journey. And because of that, it's going to, they're saying don't feel frustrated or don't feel like giving up just because you might feel like you're in a puzzle right now, just because things aren't adding up right now. Just keep on the journey, keep on the quest for knowledge and truth, because that truth will come to you. They're saying if you keep chewing on the question, the answers will come to you. And when you find those answers, like right now you're searching just for the benefit of yourself, but you'll find that those puzzle pieces from the things that, that you're looking for, those puzzle pieces will all fit together and are going to help other people on their journey in ways that you couldn't even imagine. And it has huge scale implications. So, pile number 1, wow, that was a lot for your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please comment below, because I really do love hearing from you guys. I really love to hear what you thought, and if it connected with you or if it didn't, that's okay too. I just like to hear from you guys. Please don't forget to give me a like, a thumbs up, as that helps my channel to grow. And if you got anything good from this reading, that helps me to know that you enjoyed it. As well as, please don't forget to subscribe if you're new to my channel, and don't forget to ring the bell if you want notifications about every time I upload more videos. With all that said, I hope you have a beautiful, amazing day, pile number 1, and I look forward to seeing you in the next reading. Bye! Hi, pile number 2. If you chose pile number 2 with this clear quartz crystal, it's probably one of my oldest crystals. I've had it since I was a kid. Then this is your reading. Just set this right there. Like I said in the intro, this reading is all about who you really are according to your higher self. So that's going to be from the broad perspective of your past lifetimes, your future lifetimes, everything that you could be, everything that you came here to learn and achieve within your soul, as well as what you have acquired from past lifetimes to bring into this lifetime. So I've already pre-shuffled your cards because, I don't know, I think shuffling on camera takes forever, and when people do that on pick-a-cards, I always fast forward because it just takes too long. I don't have the patience for it. But I do have, at the end, I have a couple that I'll shuffle live. But let's take a look. Let's dive on in pile number 2 and see what you got. Pile number 2, we have the Fool. we have the Seven of Cups. Oops. We have the Four of Cups. And we have the Knight of Wands. And just so you know, I'm not doing reversals today. Sometimes I do reversals, but some reading spirit says to take them all upright. And I guess it's an upright day. So, pile number 2. I really like this energy. It's really, really interesting, good energy. You might be, I want to say, a Gemini. It doesn't mean you have to be a Gemini sun, but you might have just like a lot of mercurial energy, I'm getting. Or possibly some water energy too, maybe some Pisces. But what Spirit is saying is that you are a very ambitious person, a very ambitious soul. And what they're saying is that you are at your core. And this might be something that you know about yourself, and it might also be something that you have yet to discover about yourself, because this comes from prior lifetimes. You are very curious. I want to say spirit or soul. You are a very curious person, and that's kind of the core of your being, is curiosity. And that curiosity is actually what leads you to great bravery. That you are really curious about how the world functions, and you're not afraid to what they're saying is to leap off the cliff, to leap into the abyss of the unknown. You're not afraid to dive in and look where others fear to look. What Spirit is giving me is that you like to take from a lot of different subjects and put things together that other people might not have ever thought of putting things together. You know, the Fool card is actually one of my very favorite cards in the tarot deck, especially in the major arcana. The Fool card is where the journey begins. It's actually ruled by Uranus. And as you see above, it's a step 0, which happens to do, zeros in general are ruled by Pluto, but which has to do with power. And this Fool card represents, the reason I like it so much is it's the start of the journey, and it is kind of it's the bravery of leaping into the unknown. It's the adventure, and it's kind of more than just the adventure itself. It is the spirit of adventure. It is the spirit of a new beginning. It is the spirit, it's a Uranus ruled spirit, which of this card, which represents being a bit of a rebel, being a bit of somebody that goes against the crowd and wants to take their own journey for themselves, even if everybody else says that they're insane and they're hanging on the edge of a cliff. This person is following their truth and following their heart and taking their own leap of faith for themselves. And I feel like that personifies who you are at your core, pile number 2. That you are a person, especially when it comes to knowledge, and could be in life too, that I'm hearing you don't like people telling you what to do. And I know nobody really likes to be told what to do. I mean, maybe some people, but I don't know too many that do. But you're the type of person that is not afraid to say no, or even if it's not say no to their face, you're going to figure out. Spirit is saying you're going to Houdini your way out of whatever kind of restrictions people try to put on you. And I'm hearing that this presented itself in your early childhood and possibly this lifetime. They say that our childhood is kind of a representation of our past lifetimes and our past life karma, that we tend to repeat a lot of the karma in our childhood that we carried through with us from our past lifetime, because we're not really in control of our childhood. It's not till we hit adulthood that we actually are able to control our life and have full control over our choices. And what I'm hearing is that as a child, that this core of who you were, this started to present itself as that maybe you were presented versions of the world. Maybe you were presented versions of like a religion and versions of, truth, or what they called truth. And it could come through, as I'm hearing, as many different things, and it might have been not just one thing for you. I'm hearing like from all these different like things that were telling you what to believe in life, whether that was like, say, through a religion, or say through Spirit is saying even with science, maybe even with like family tradition, possibly your heritage, possibly anything that was pressed upon you belief-wise, or where you were told this is the way things are, this is how the world works, this is how things go. And you always had this natural curiosity, and you kind of had this really strong gut instinct that what you were told wasn't the full information, that what you were told wasn't fully correct, and that you had this kind of dissatisfaction with the beliefs that were given to you, this dissatisfaction with the version of the world that was given to you. And you were the type of person that's like, you couldn't help but look at all of the other, I'm hearing, data, information, and analyze it. That you were looking at it from so many perspectives. Say if it was like a belief system that your family all held and you were told you had to uphold it. Well, even though you might have embraced that belief system for a while, you couldn't help but, say, look at things from, kind of pick it apart. Because you naturally have a curious spirit, and you naturally have a bit of a dissatisfied spirit, a restless spirit. And I'll use the word soul in reference to you, because I tend to refer to what I get from the guides as spirit, so I think this could sound confusing. So you were a naturally dissatisfied soul with the knowledge and with the perception of what you were told you're supposed to do and accept in this life and in this world. And Spirit is saying that is actually the greatest part of who you are, is this dissatisfaction, is the one that is able to look naturally and say that all of this does not add up. So maybe two aspects of this belief system really add up, but you're not looking at the bigger picture over here. And that you couldn't help but look at the full picture and all the little pieces and put it together and say, it just doesn't make full sense. And Spirit is saying that this might have caused you to feel like cast out, and possibly caused you to feel unaccepted by others. And but they're saying at the heart and core of who you are, like that didn't stop you, that you are always charging forward, that this actually just kind of ignited more ambition in you, more desire to achieve more things. They're saying that this restlessness, this curiosity has led to a lot of has led to like a lot of skills that you've acquired in yourself, that you are like multifacetedly talented, that you are probably very articulate and very very, very good at a lot of different things. They're saying a jack of all trades, and Spirit is saying a jack of all trades and a master of many. I was just laughing because it's usually the opposite that is said, a jack of all trades and a master of none. But Spirit is saying that you're a jack of all trades and a master of many. And whether you see any of this in yourself, this is your higher self's perspective of you. This is what is within you, possibly buried within you from other lifetimes. And they're saying that if it hasn't come forth, there will be situations in your life that will force it to come forth. And they're saying that that if you haven't allowed yourself to allow your natural inquisitiveness to be your guide in this lifetime, that it might have presented itself as maybe anger or frustration, or they're saying even like some sort of disorder, that they're saying that that's not the reality of who you are, that maybe you were punished in this lifetime for this part of you that is Spirit is saying that's a natural heretic, that is naturally kind of a person that stands against the crowd. And that you just can't help it. And that when you try or have tried to repress that part of yourself, it comes forth as anger because it's so against your soul. It's so against your natural way of being. And that they're saying that to work with that energy correctly in your soul is to allow yourself to be inquisitive, to be curious, to be different, to embrace that, and to actually allow yourself to look at all these different facets of life. Even the taboo or the unknown. You're supposed to look into that part of life. And then that's going to give you the motivation to charge forward, to build with, that you're supposed to build something great in this life with that. So let's look at some of your other cards. I have, from the Astrology deck, I have some cards that I pulled earlier, but I haven't looked at them. We have water. Interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. This card is ruled by Neptune, and I was getting some water sign energy in the 11th house. You might feel connected to pile number 1 as well. They're kind of similar messages here. I thought I had another card for you, but I guess not. Maybe. I thought that you were the group that 3 came out with, but I guess it was 2. So, water and the 11th house. Interesting. With the 11th house, it says friends, like-minded groups, and humanitarian beliefs. And with water, we have spirituality, emotion, intuition, and compassion. You know, it's very interesting because we were talking earlier about Uranus, and Uranus is the natural ruler of the 11th house, if you know much about astrology. But the 11th house is, like we were saying earlier, they are considered kind of the one who stands against the crowd. And it's naturally an air house, meaning it's ruled by Aquarius, it's ruled by Uranus, which is all ruled by the element of air, which represents knowledge, which represents taking from many, many things to come up and seeing the full spectrum of the picture, to be able to come up with a solution to problems that absolutely nobody could have put together. And that's why it rules the sign of the genius. And with water, I'm seeing kind of this fusion for you. Within the core of your being is this fusion of intellect and spirituality. I'm seeing that you're somebody who, it's like people have always tried to like keep spirituality and like knowledge and science separate. Like as though reason and spirituality are contradictory to each other. But it's like your spirit, your soul, your core of who you are sees the interconnectivity of all things, that you are able to see things from a scientific, reasonable, logical perspective, and then also a spiritual, metaphysical perspective. And I'm seeing that those two are your predominant, but Spirit is also saying that you're able to connect it with like the fire element and the earth element to bring forth new, innovative ideas. So they're really giving me that you have a deep connection with spirit, but most people don't see it because you're very, very smart. But they're saying that people don't understand that spirituality is intelligence. But you understand that at your core, they're saying. And that a big part of who you are is supposed to be able to fuse these two together and to bring spirituality. They're saying to your family, to your friends, to your group, to your community, that you're a highly spiritually intuitive being. So let's look at your other cards. Pile number 2. We have the Muse with Venus. I inspire and am inspired. We have the Mystic. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Sorry, these are not coming apart. I have the Mystic and the King. Wow. Well, that's what I was getting with the water, so that's very, very interesting. Is that you have such a strong, deep connection to spirituality. And with all of this, I'm really getting that you possibly are an artist of sorts, and that this fusion of intellect and spirituality and practicality, Spirit is now giving me, all of these things are supposed to be fused together, and that the easiest fusion of all these, of like this amalgamation of all of these different things that you draw upon, naturally comes through in the arts. That it could be drawing, it could be music, it could be talking, it could be blogging, it could be public speaking, it could be writing, it could be, there's so many different mediums of art, especially these days. But what I'm getting is you're here to, that you're here to be a bit of a muse. That they're giving me this image that you're kind of like a good fairy, which I guess all fairies are maybe good. I don't know that much about fairy lore and stuff, but kind of like this beautiful little being, even if you're tall or whatever, that Spirit is showing you that you have kind of like this magical energy to you that people don't expect. I really get a lot of Gemini. I don't know if you are a Gemini or if you just have something in your chart that is very mercurial, very strongly placed Mercury. And what I'm getting is that all of this knowledge is to ignite like the magic inside people. It's to make them see what they're capable of. It's to make yourself also see what you are capable of achieving. And I'm hearing that it's like you have a lot of fire in you as well. And it's like you're here. You're here to kind of raise yourself up, I'm hearing. As kind of a spiritual leader. That's what you're here to do. You're here to be a spiritual leader. And it's like the Muse card kind of represents what spirituality does to people. Is it ignites the magic within them. Like art. Art is naturally very spiritual, whether that's music or movies or books. All of that, if we have a movie or book or song or painting that really inspires us, it inspires the highest part of our spirit. And that comes from the highest realms. That comes from spirituality. It connects us to our divine self. And I'm hearing that that's what you do. That it's like you have almost like this pixie type of spirit. Meaning that you just kind of like ignite the magic in other people. And that you're meant to do that. And you're meant to be like a spiritual leader is what I'm hearing. That and they're saying that you are humble and you might not want to be a leader of any kind. You just want to be on your journey. But Spirit is saying you have many past lifetimes of being a mystic, of being I'm hearing shaman, of being a shaman, of being somebody that was in a position to save others, to help others through their darkest times. And I'm hearing that in this lifetime, you're here to reignite in people the spiritual parts of their heart. And that might be through art, and that might be through other means too, but I'm really getting through art to ignite the parts of them that they had forgotten about. Now, for your card, this is where it landed. So let's see. We have the wren, and it's this pretty little card. Looks like a nightingale to me, actually. think it's very pretty. And it says the Wren. Vibrancy, efficiency, activity, quick-witted. Yeah. I think the spirit is very impressed with your mind. They're saying you have a beautiful mind. And I'm hearing, I don't really know much about the wren bird, so I would have to Google that. But what I'm hearing is that you're somebody that shines bright like a star in the night, that you stand out like a diamond. You know, all of these little stars in the background, they remind me of diamonds, that you shine bright like a diamond, and that maybe in your past lifetimes and possibly your early childhood and maybe even still in this lifetime, you felt like you need to be ashamed of the parts of you that sparkle, that are different, that are unique, that shine bright. And Spirit is saying that you are meant to shine bright and to stop suppressing your light, because that light is what is leading everybody else through their darkest night. And I think you've even inspired your energy. I'm rhyming suddenly, so you have a very muse-like creative side to you that inspires the creativity in others and inspires the highest parts of others. And they're saying, don't hold that part of yourself back. Allow yourself to shine. Allow yourself to, I'm hearing, sing your song, and to be true to your truest self, because that's what you're here to do, and that you are possibly even a starseed. You just come from a very high realm, and you have very high intelligence, and that intelligence is just as spiritual as it is practical and physical. So pile number 2, I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please comment below, or even if it didn't resonate, I love to hear from you, and let me know how it connected with you. And if you did enjoy it, please give me a thumbs up, because that helps my channel to grow. And if you're not already, please consider subscribing and hit that notification bell if you'd like to get updates on every time I post new content. But in the meantime, pile number 2, I hope you have a beautiful, amazing, and blessed day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next reading. Bye! Hi, pile number 3. If you chose this fire crystal, pile number 3, then this is your reading. This is one of my favorite crystals. I really happen to love the fire crystals. So I already pre-shuffled for you. If you haven't heard me say this before, it's just because I'm very impatient and I always fast forward past all the shuffling and pick cards. So I already pre-shuffled, but I have a couple cards at the end that I'm going to pull for you that I will shuffle live. But let's go ahead and look at your cards. Today we're going to be looking at who you are from the perspective of your higher or highest self. So this is going to have to do with your past lives, your current lifetime, who you were, who you are, and where you're going, and what you're here to do in this lifetime. So let's dive on in. Pile number 3. We have the Page of Wands. We have the Ten of Cups. We have the Magician. My goodness, you got some major energy here. You have the Empress and the Nine of Cups, which is wish fulfillment. Okay, pile number 3. What I'm getting for you, interestingly enough, a lot of what I'm getting here for you has to do with healing. I'm hearing family trauma and karmic, like generational trauma. That you are very much a healer. And I'm seeing that you're very much kind of a Venusian type, and that you're here to fix and heal a lot of karma that has come through possibly through your family. And they're calling you the alchemist, especially with the magician being at the center. With the magician being at the center of who you are, that you're somebody who is very, very, I would say, prosperous spiritually, that your soul really knows how to nurture, how to grow, how to cultivate, prosperity and growth in others and in yourself as well. I see you as a very kind of nurturing, very caring, very, your energy is just very warm. It's very vibrant. I want to say almost kind of motherly. Now, even if you don't, feel like that fits you, this is what Spirit is giving me, that it kind of is a very feminine energy that connects with kind of cultivating growth, cultivating beauty, cultivating prosperity. I'm hearing that that your spirit is kind of like, for a lot of people, you might have a lot of admirers in this lifetime, and that love and relationships, possibly working with children, possibly dealing with families, whether that is your family or, other people's families, that a lot of your lifetime and time has been spent dealing with kind of the interconnectivity of relationships that is usually found in, more intimate relationships, which is more commonly a family. And Spirit is saying that doesn't necessarily have to mean like family that you are related to, but it could be soul family as well. And people and friends and friendship that you form such tight, close bonds with. And I'm hearing that you are, that a big part of your spirit, your soul, is about bringing beauty, bringing harmonization, bringing kind of like this refreshing energy. Like that you're kind of wish fulfillment for other people, is what I'm hearing. And that you probably have a lot of admirers, and possibly a lot of secret admirers that you might know about and some you might not know about, Spirit is saying. Which, I don't know. So with that in mind, I see you as being somebody who, Spirit is saying, you always have the capacity to hold your head up high, even in difficult situations. That Spirit is saying that your spirit, and you might know this about yourself and you might not, that you always are the type of spirit or person that takes the higher ground. That you are always looking upward, especially when everyone else is trying to force you to look downward, to feel low. You might have had a lot of people try to squash your energy, but yet you are always looking upwards. You're always looking to the higher ground, to the higher purpose, to the higher perspective. You're the type of soul that gets the lesson, that looks for like the lesson in any hardship they're going through. That I'm hearing you might get knocked down, but you don't stay down. You always get right back up again. Like that song. You get knocked down, but you get right back up again. I hear that you have a resilience to you. And interestingly enough, it's a very earthy resilience, a very Venus type of resilience that is not the resilience of, like a warrior Mars triumphant, but it's more like a resilience of cultivating beauty, a resilience of, okay, I got knocked down this time, but I'm going to pick myself back up again. And as I pick myself up, I'm gonna learn everything I can as to why I fell down, as to why that hardship came upon me. And I'm going to use that information not just to nourish myself, but to nourish others. And Spirit has given me this image that your energy, what you do for other people, that your energy in general is kind of like is kind of like water, like having your thirst quenched on a very, very hot day. That's how Spirit has given me that your energy is, that you are such a vibrant, they're saying tenacious, fruitful soul, that there's so much, they want to use the word fertility in your spirit, that you're very fertile. And what they're giving me with that, it does not have to do with, like, you know, having kids. It has to do with creation, that you like, that you, everything you touch becomes abundant, becomes prosperous, becomes fertile, becomes refreshed, creates growth, creates beauty, cultivates harmony. They're just kind of giving me this image of like everything you touch, like this is a little silly, so these images might be strange, but like everything you touch like turns into like flowers or gold or kind of a Midas touch type of thing. That everything that you do, everyone that you come around is blessed by your Venusian energy. Even if you feel like you have very strong divine masculine in yourself or in your chart, Spirit is saying that this is a part of you from past lifetimes. And in this lifetime, it still lingers over, even if you don't still see it today. You are someone that cultivates beauty in the world around you, and that beauty is nourishing, and it gives you a resilience that is stronger than, they're saying it's stronger than the resilience that comes from like brute force or from sheer grit. It's the resilience that is lasting. It's the resilience that stands behind, that makes us want to stand up and fight another day. It's the resilience that makes us want to get out of bed in the morning. It's the resilience of joy, and that you bring such great joy, such great love into people's lives, whether you realize it or not. You are like that emotional fulfillment that everybody is seeking in this world. They're saying you're a very, very highly evolved spirit, a very, very highly evolved soul, and that comes through as beauty in this lifetime. It comes through, it could be physical beauty, it could be the beauty of what you create. Spirit has given me cooking as well, that you are just like, whether you cook or not, I just feel like Spirit is saying that you, if you were to cook and devote yourself to that, everything you would make would just be like so like over the top, because you're putting your energy into everything you do. Everything you make is well, they're giving me the word deluxe. I don't think I've ever actually used that word before, but that's what they're saying with your spirit. That's the best word to describe what you are. You are like the deluxe edition of whatever you touch. Like if you're going to be a chef, like you might not start out, you know, like, okay, not having a ton of experience, but with just like 10% of effort and anything you touch, you immediately turn it into the deluxe edition, because that's your energy. You are like the deluxe edition of I don't know, it's making me giggle, of yourself. So let's look at your other cards. I pulled from the astrology deck, so let's see what cards you have. Oh my gosh, I swear I did not look at this before. This is wild. It's Venus energy. That's insane. Well, I love it when that happens with tarot. So yeah, confirmation. You are a very, very Venusian type. And then this one is the 9th house, spiritual growth. So you might have like Venus in the 9th house. You might have Taurus 9th house energy. You might have, I don't know, like the Sagittarius Venus vibe, because it's kind of like that. That's actually a good representation of what I was saying with the energy of like the word deluxe is, you know, Sagittarius 9th house rules, the 9th house is ruled by Sagittarius in general, and it also represents Jupiter energy. And 9th house energy in general is expansive. Whatever the ninth house or Jupiter or Sag touches, it expands, it amplifies. And whatever Venus touches or Taurus energy, it makes it more, it beautifies. So you put amplify and beautify together, and you get the deluxe exclusive edition. And Spirit is saying there's something kind of exclusive about you that people when they first meet you, that they know that you're kind of like a rare. The Spirit is saying that you're like a rare bird. That it's kind of like Spirit's giving me a lot of images with you, so bear with me. You might just be like a very visual person in general, because I don't usually pick up this many images, but Spirit is giving me like this image of like someone being a bird watcher, way out in like a kind of like in the jungle, and that when people meet you, it's like they've seen possibly many birds before, but when they see you, it's like this is like that rare bird that only like, you know, once in a lifetime that they get to meet, and they're just kind of in awe and also possibly intimidated. You might get a lot of people that give you like a lot of crass energy, and Spirit is saying that comes through with as kind of a reaction to your Venusian energy, that you are so Venusian, that you are so like rare, and like I'm hearing the word kind of like divine, that you have like such a divine inner beauty that shines forth into your outer world and to everything you touch, that it kind of conjures up the harshness within them as just kind of like a natural reaction, because they naturally feel in contrast to you. It's like they feel jealous and they feel inferior. For souls that are not as evolved, they feel kind of struck by their own inferiority, and so they kind of react like harshly and almost like crass, I think would be a better way to put it, like kind of harsh and abrupt and mean and cold. They're saying not everybody, but you might come across this and you're like, what did I do? I didn't do anything wrong. Well, it's the jealousy within them, because you're so Venusian that it's just kind of like a natural thing. And they're saying that you're just kind of like this rare, beautiful pearl that that is kind of, they're saying is kind of hidden, is hard to get at and hard to find, but yet you have touched and are supposed to touch many people's lives. You're supposed to be spreading that abundant spirit to many others, and you're supposed to, Spirit is saying you're supposed to be kind of helping. That your heart, this is really standing out to me, how this is a heart with wings, and then the birds flying in the background. You know, that's funny, when I was giving you that bird analogy, I didn't even notice the birds before, but I have a lot of bird analogies here. That's interesting. That your heart, they're giving me this image of like your heart is about to take flight, and that's what you're here to do, is to, you're supposed to have this Venusian, naturally have this strong Venusian energy, but it's going to be, it's supposed to take flight. It's supposed to be spread amongst many, many people. And you're supposed to be sharing your heart, your cultivation of knowledge, your cultivation of beauty, your cultivation of a deluxe, I don't know, Spirit was saying of deluxity, but I'm pretty sure that's not a word. That's why I was laughing. But of like this deluxe Venusian, abundant, prosperous energy, you're supposed to be touching the lives of many, many people with your beautiful heart, with your beautiful energy. And Spirit is saying it's very healing. That you are supposed to be healing many, many people with your knowledge and just with the abundance of your heart and soul. So let's look at your other cards that you got. Oh my gosh, more birds. You know, I'm thinking with how much we have with bird imagery here, even though these are geese, I think Spirit wants you to realize, this is a side message, but what's coming to me is that Spirit wants you to see you're meant to be prosperous in this lifetime, pile number 3. You're actually meant to have abundance, to be abundant, because you are an abundant spirit. And what I'm hearing is that life has made you feel like you have an abundant deficit. They have made you feel like you are not abundant, that you maybe lack in beauty, or maybe you lack in, they've put you in this lack mentality. And they're saying, Spirit is saying that if you lead with your heart, if you follow what your heart tells you, if you use the intuition of your heart and let your heart be your guide in this lifetime, it's going to lead you to abundance. You are born to lead. You are born. You've been a leader in many other lifetimes, they're saying too. But that in this lifetime and possibly in past lifetimes that they've broken your heart. And that has made it so you've lost your compass, because your heart is supposed to be your compass in this lifetime, because that's your greatest asset. That is the thing. Venus rules the heart, it rules love, and that you're supposed to be guided by love. You're supposed to be leading others towards love, others towards, I'd say, their highest calling. But they're saying to stop restricting yourself, to stop limiting yourself with a scarcity mentality. Spirit is saying you have everything you need, because everything you need is in your heart, in your spirit, in your soul. You are bountiful. You are this deluxe, I'm sorry I keep saying that word, this deluxe edition of yourself, this deluxe edition of anything you touch. Like I said, if you're a chef, the food you make is deluxe. If you are, I'm hearing a writer, or a teacher, or we have the 9th house, a philosopher. Everything that you touch turns into like this superb deluxe edition. And what I'm hearing is that you're supposed to lead with your heart. You're supposed to lead with your heart, and not so much with the crowd. To break out of the crowd, to break out of where everyone else is going, and you lead the way, and lead from a place of love, because that's actually your gift, and that is your ticket to prosperity, is what I'm hearing. And with Organizer, I feel like with Organizer that you are somebody that needs to not be afraid to stand alone. That's really what Spirit has given me with the fountain being out there alone. It says everything has its rightful place. And I feel like you naturally might have a very good organizational skill. I'm just shuffling for your next card and your final card. But I really feel like Spirit wants you to see that it's okay to stand alone. It's okay to spread your wings, and you don't have to feel like you have to rely upon others for your truth, that you're the ones that's supposed to lead others to their truth. And to not be afraid to stand alone, and to not be afraid to see that you stand in the right, is what they're saying. Because the word steadfast in the small print down here is really standing out to me. And that what you're here to do, what you've incarnated here to do and to be, is to be a light, and to be a light unto yourself. And without even trying, that's going to, they're saying, like, spread unto others. It's going to light up others' lives by just you being you, by you just standing in the light of who you are, and staying like very stern and strict. But I'm trying to think how to word this. Like, Spirit is giving me like the energy of Saturn, that's stern and strict and unbending, and very, very like, this is the way things are to be. But they're saying they want you to be that way with yourself when it comes to following your heart. That it's like, no matter what, you've made a commitment, because Saturn is commitment. So that's the best word for it, to be stern and steadfast in your commitment to your heart, to yourself, to your truth, to your path. That you've maybe spent too much of your life and other lifetimes giving to others, trying to bend over backwards to help others on their way, when it's actually supposed to be you're the one that's supposed to break out of the crowd, maybe like even break out of the community, break out of like the group, or maybe Spirit has even given me like family ties or relationship ties, that you're supposed to break free, follow your heart, and be like firmly committed to your heart, to your truth above all else, and not needing others to guide your way. But as you do that, others will flock to you. Oh, another bird analogy. So they will flock to you. And even if you don't see that, that's actually the key to your life here. So we have this tree kind of standing alone. Let's read your final card. It says discovery, revelation, prediction, hope. The word above is aurora. And I really feel like as you learn to kind of stand on your own 2 feet and to kind of have your own self-revitalizing love and love for self, that is going to ignite hope for yourself in your life, and then it's also going to ignite hope in others. A lot that's coming through in this reading has to do with hope, with wish fulfillment, and I feel like you're really the type of person that would bend over backwards to help others. But Spirit is saying it's time you bend over backwards to help you, and to feed all of that beautiful, bountiful energy back into yourself, into self-revitalization. And Spirit is saying when you do that, that you will naturally bless the lives of others, but you don't have to look to bless the lives of others. That it will come from you being okay with they're saying with nurturing yourself, with loving yourself, with feeding into yourself. That's a big part of what you're here to learn, is to not be too hyper-focused on allowing others to take so much for you. That it's time for you to fill your own fountain, to give back unto yourself, to nourish unto yourself. And then that will revitalize your hope within yourself, your hope and your belief of what you can do, what you can achieve, and that abundant energy will be given unto you, and then others will flock to you. So that is what I'm getting, pile number 3 for you. If you enjoyed this reading, please don't forget to comment below, as I really love to hear from you guys. And please, if you liked this, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, as that helps my channel to grow. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing, and don't forget to ring that bell, as it will notify you every time I upload more pick-up card readings. But with all that said, pile number 3, I really enjoyed your reading today, and I hope to see you again in the future. Have a beautiful and wonderful day and a blessed life, and I will see you soon. Bye.